What's this? Is this Cody? There's my dog, Cody. This is the panting you're hearing in the background of this video. My companion. My full-blooded border collie. Okay, go lay down. Let's go. So, here's a story you're going to love. One time I was pouring concrete into a 5-gallon bucket. The driver of the concrete truck was a little baffled. And I'm then filling a 12-foot death trap without permits. The client still tells this story years later. The engineering trick that no one had seen before. So I'm working for this same client that has the 5-unit apartment in North Park, and this one's a hotel slash restaurant downtown San Diego. It's an old building built around the early 1900s, and it's one of those that's built out of multiple depth courses of just basic fire brick, red brick. And it's an old building. They'd retrofitted it with big wood beams and posts because it was falling down, and they tore down half of the hotel and just left the restaurant. So it's an old building. They're doing renovation, and the new manager of the property notices that they're beautifying the neighborhood. They're fixing all the streets, sidewalks, they're putting in nice brick, and he's worried that they're going to come around the corner and they're going to hit this suspended slab that covers what used to be a basement access staircase, which was poured over who knows when. So he doesn't want these workers to come along and jackhammer through this slab and fall 12 feet and possibly die. So he says to me, Michael, you've got to come up with a way that I could do this. And right now, with them coming around the corner, so to speak, I don't have time to go through the red tape, through the bureaucracy, to try and get permits, because everything you do downtown requires permits, even to get a dumpster. So I said, okay, let me think about it for a minute. And I brought all my skills to bear, my years of construction, concrete construction, my plumbing experience. And I said, okay, we'll get this done. I got my brother and I together. We formed a snap tie wall in the archway that used to lead up to the staircase from underneath. And we put our whalers and our cowbells and wedges on there, and we clamped it down, knowing that we weren't going to get some of the material back because we're going to do a demo on the outside. And we're not going to be able to go down there in that hole and get that without attracting attention from the neighborhood. So we formed it up, and before we pulled it in tight, I hooked up and plumbed a 4-inch line, a sewer pipe line, ABS, down into the top of the form and up through the slab. Attached it to a flange that I had put on the bottom of a 5-gallon bucket, a white bucket. And we were doing another infill. I say we, it's just me at this point. We're doing another infill along the top in the same sidewalk area that was right at the top. It was only about 3 foot deep. It was glass block patterns to let light into the basement. But this we could do from above. So I had the concrete driver filling that hole, screeding it. I screeded it, and I said, okay, when you're done with this, I'll keep screeding. Put the rest of the concrete over there in that bucket. He looks and says, okay. So he stops the chute, gets it, splashed off, and then he says to himself, okay, I'll just go grab that bucket. He reaches over to grab the bucket, and it won't move. And he looks in there, and he goes, oh. So he then turns the chute, pulls the truck forward a little bit and backs up, and puts the chute right over that bucket. And I give the signal. He proceeds to have the bucket filled up with concrete. But it's not technically filling up, because at this point it's a bottomless bucket. I've got my brother downstairs. He's running a vibrator on the form from the inside of the basement, and he's making sure all the concrete is flowing down and filling up the cavity. And when it fills up to the point where it starts filling the bucket, I say, that's enough, that's enough. I take that bucket, I lift it off, I use my foot, I screed off the concrete, and I walk away. 10 days later, I go in, and I scheduled a slurry truck. And as that truck's backing up, I had my jackhammer ready, my big 90-pound jackhammer. I think this time was a 65 pneumatic, and I got it, and I'm waiting for the truck to show up, because again, there's no permits. I did block up a couple of parking spaces with my vehicles, moved them out of the way for the concrete truck, and I'm jackhammering out the slab as it's caving in, as he's backing up with the chute, and I'm firing it up, and we're filling the void, the concrete from the suspended slab, my form work, my plumbing, my ABS, all the brackets and cowbells, and fill it up, fill it up, fill it up, screed it off, and we just wait. Wait for about 3 hours till we can walk across it safely, and then we picked up our materials, our minimal barricade system, and we walked away. Now this client, like I said, did this because he needed to get it done quick to save lives. He didn't want to be sued for somebody getting hurt, and he didn't have the time to go through the permits. So this is when you can call on someone that you trust, that knows all these different trades, and can make the problem go away at minimal cost. I mean, his mom, who was pretty frugal, she was very happy with how that all turned out. And yeah, we stripped off the wall downstairs in the basement on the inside, so we had exposed concrete, and it was beautiful. There were no bubbles, there were no rock pockets. It was gorgeous. Now here's the legacy part of this. The contractor still shares that story to this date, and I'll bet you that concrete driver is also sharing that story, because I'm sure to this point he'd never seen anything like it. This is what happens when you're sneaking around all those prying eyes and those bureaucrats. The trust in me paid off. My experience came to bear, and I was able to help him out of a sticky situation. Multi-trade experience allows creative solutions. Concrete knowledge, plumbing knowledge, as well as the trick with the bottomless bucket. Sometimes safety can't wait for bureaucracy. Permits can take months, years, while danger exists. Permits can take months and years while danger exists. Engineering creativity solves impossible problems. Not all solutions come from textbooks. Experience plus ingenuity beats red tape. So if you need a problem solving for impossible situations, multi-trade experience that thinks outside the box, look up MrFixer.com. That's MrPhixer.com. I'm Mr. Fixer. 30 years of tricks bureaucrats haven't seen. Subscribe for more engineering genius stories.